Most gardeners, lose plants not to pests, heat, or poor soil, but, well, to kindness. Before we go any further, make sure you subscribe to Evergreen Garden, comment below with what you're growing right now, and share this with a gardener who waters a little too much. Today, we are talking about the silent killer hiding in overwatered gardens, the one problem that wipes out seedlings, fruit trees, vegetables, and ornamentals without obvious warning, and it happens quietly beneath the soil surface. Overwatering kills more plants than drought ever will, and the reason surprises most gardeners. When soil stays wet for too long, plant roots slowly suffocate. Roots do not just drink water, they breathe oxygen. Healthy soil is roughly 50% solid material, 25% water, and 25% air. When you water too frequently, those air pockets collapse, oxygen disappears, and roots begin to rot. The plant above ground looks thirsty, even though the soil is soaked, leading gardeners to water again and accelerate the damage. Root rot is not a disease you see at first, it is a process you create over time. Fungal pathogens such as Pythium, Phytophthora, and Fusarium thrive in wet, oxygen-poor soil. Once roots weaken from lack of oxygen, these organisms attack easily. The roots turn brown or black, become soft, and lose the fine white root hairs responsible for nutrient uptake. At that point, no amount of fertilizer will save the plant because damaged roots cannot absorb anything effectively. The most dangerous part about overwatering is that its symptoms mimic underwatering almost perfectly. Leaves wilt, growth just sort of stalls, and the plant really looks stressed, especially during those warm afternoons. Now, many gardeners understandably respond by watering more, thinking the heat is the issue. But in reality, the roots are actually drowning. A tomato plant with yellowing lower leaves, slow growth, and soil that's constantly damp is far more likely suffering from excess water than from a lack of it. Soil texture, honestly, determines how fast this silent killer moves through your garden. Clay-heavy soils, for example, hold water tightly, draining slowly and staying saturated for days. Sandy soils, on the other hand, drain quickly but can still cause problems if watered too frequently. Now, loam soils offer a bit of balance, but even they won't cope if irrigation is constant. If you dig about 5 centimeters down and the soil sticks together and shines with moisture, it definitely does not need water. Healthy soil should, crumble slightly when pressed, not smear or drip. One practical test that every gardener should use is the finger test, combined with a bit of timing. Just push your finger at least 5 to 8 centimeters into the soil near the root zone. If it feels cool and damp, do not water, even if the surface looks dry. For vegetables, deep watering once every 3 to 5 days is usually better than daily shallow watering. And for fruit trees, a deep soak every 7 to 14 days, depending on weather, encourages roots to grow deeper and stronger instead of staying near the surface. Drainage fixes more problems than any fertilizer ever will. In garden beds, mixing in coarse compost at a ratio of 1 part compost to 3 parts, native soil improves structure and airflow. Avoid fine compost alone, as it can compact when wet. And in containers, a proper soil mix matters more than drainage holes alone. Use a blend of 50% quality compost, 30% coarse material like rice hulls or bark, and 20% garden soil. Never use pure garden soil in pots because it compacts and suffocates roots. Mulch can either protect your garden or, make overwatering worse depending on how it is used. A 5 centimeter layer of organic mulch helps regulate moisture and soil temperature, but piling mulch against stems or trunks traps moisture where it causes rot. Always leave a small gap around plant bases. In rainy seasons, pull mulch back temporarily to allow soil to dry faster, especially around young plants. Irrigation systems often turn gardens into silent graveyards without gardeners realizing it. Drip systems left on fixed schedules ignore rainfall, temperature changes, and plant maturity. A seedling needs light moisture near the surface, but a mature plant needs deeper, less frequent watering. Adjust irrigation as plants grow. If your soil stays wet 24 hours after watering, cut the duration by half before increasing intervals. More water is rarely the answer. There are situations where plants recover, but honestly, timing is absolutely critical. If caught early, stop watering immediately and allow the soil to dry partially. Improve airflow, loosen compacted soil gently, and remove affected plants to prevent fungal spread. For valuable plants, dusting roots lightly with wood ash or cinnamon during replanting can reduce fungal activity, but this only works when damage is minimal. Severely rotted roots mean the plant is already lost, and learning from it will save the rest of your garden. Experienced gardeners know that stress builds resilience when applied correctly. Slight dryness between waterings encourages stronger root systems, better nutrient uptake, and, well, healthier growth overall. Plants raised in constantly wet soil become weak, shallow-rooted, and disease-prone. Watering is not about frequency, it is about timing, depth, and understanding what the soil is telling you. The silent killer in overwatered gardens thrives on good intentions and poor observation. When you slow down, test your soil, adjust your watering habits, and respect root oxygen needs, your garden becomes more productive, more resilient, and honestly, far easier to manage. Healthy roots create healthy plants, and healthy plants reward you with stronger harvests and fewer problems. If this guide helped you rethink how you water, subscribe to Evergreen Garden, share this with a fellow gardener, and comment below with the crop you want to master next. Your garden will thank you for it, and so will every plant you grow from this point forward.